Okay, we are live. So, hi
Yeah,
everyone, welcome to TechMaestro. My name is Karan, and today I have Prabhat with me. So, today we'll be discussing about PharmEasy interview process end to end. So, we'll be discussing only about the software engineering interview process, and we'll cover all aspects. Like we'll cover interview process for uh, entry level, senior level, and at all level, and the different type of rounds that PharmEasy takes, and how do you prepare for that expectations in all the different rounds, and how do you prepare for that particular round specifically for PharmEasy and in general as well. So let's quickly start. First of all, before we start, I'd like to thank Prabhat for joining us and giving his time to uh, go live with us and share his insights and his knowledge. So, without any further delay, Prabhat, why don't you start with a brief introduction about yourself?
yeah, sure. Thanks, Karan, first of all. So, my name is Prabhat, as Karan mentioned. So, I'm currently working as a software engineer with PharmEasy. So, it's like 5, 6 months working with PharmEasy. Prior to that, I was working with NCR Corporation as a backend engineer. So, I worked there for around like 1 year, 5 months, and so. And prior to that, I did my internship with the NCR itself. So I was based in Hyderabad at that time.
Nice, nice. So, a fun fact is like Prabhat was one of my mentees, and then when he was working with NCR, and then he worked also looking for a change, and now he's at Pharmacy, and he's helping entire Tech Maestro community to mentor people, help them understand, or like share his experience of journey and experience of how to prepare and how to get better at coding and every aspect, and help them crack their software engineering interview. So now coming back to the main topic again. So first of all, like in any job interview or anything, like application is the very first step. So let's talk about that. So how did you apply at Pharmacy?
For me, so basically, I will tell you before that, like what was my strategy basically. So I was looking for a change when I was working at NCR Corporation. So how I followed, I was more inclined towards working with a startup which would be in a well maintained state, so not a kind of like those startups which are kind of have a reputed uh, stage of kind of thing in Indian, in our culture. So I looked in like in 2021 what all are the unicorns. So
Okay.
out of that, so luckily there were like 20 plus unicorns in 2021, and I searched out of them 10 like which have a good working culture and other aspect as well, like on their tech stack and all. So out of that, then I started reaching out on LinkedIn itself to the recruiters of those companies. So
Okay.
for Pharmacy also I followed the same. So I directly reached out to the recruiter on LinkedIn for the Pharmacy, and that's how I applied at Pharmacy.
Oh, nice. So everybody is running after a referral, and everybody is like, "Acha yaar, I don't get a chance," and all. So if you don't have a referral, like Prabhat said, try. There is no harm in trying. Just reach out to the recruiter on LinkedIn, because see, it landed a job for him. Like it ended an interview, and he landed a job for him, right? So it's not. Now let's talk about like, although did you like start cold messaging recruiters? How many recruiters did you message, and was it like you pinged and they responded, or did you have to follow up? Like what? How did the process look like to you?
So basically, this is actually a problem. So when basically, so I reached out around like out of those 10 companies, so I reached out to all of them. So out
Okay,
of them, got, I guess, a response from one or two on the first
okay,
time. And so basically, after that, I followed up like after 2, 3 days. That was my part of that strategy. So I got this by Karan itself. So Karan told me that. So I tried to follow it up like after 2, 3 days, and then 2, 3 days after that. So for Pharmacy also I followed up and I got a response from the recruiter. So that this is for most of the companies, like because the thing is like recruiters are most of the time busy. So there
Mm-hmm.
could be chances like they looked on your profile, but they were not able to reply you at that moment. So it's better to follow up one or two, three times, one or two times at max, so that they can reach out to you. So in case of pharmacy itself, so when I reached out and my interview itself got scheduled like after that only.
Okay. So definitely, like, so I think a lot of people feel shy or hesitate in reaching out for the first attempt, and then when they text it, most of the time they don't do or retext second times and all. So this is my piece of advice to everyone who is watching this video live or recorded, doesn't matter. If you are reaching out to a recruiter, first of all, don't mind reaching out to recruiter or any employee for a referral. Start doing that. There is no harm in doing that. Just keep applying, keep trying. And then secondly, when you apply, if you don't get a reward, just try for a follow up, like, and you have to be nice and you have to be polite about it. It's not like ki, yaar reply क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो, yeah, why didn't you reply and all, right? You have to be nice and you have to be polite about it. Ki, I'm just following up to know, I texted you earlier and just checking up if you got a chance to read that, or you might have missed it. Because all these people are actually busy, like Prabhat mentioned. These people get hundreds of messages a week, or maybe in a month, if not a week, right? So it's not very easy to look at all the messages or look at all the reach outs that they get. So do follow up if it is possible. Now, once since this is out of the blue, or this is clear that this is how you can apply in any company, not just PharmEasy, anywhere. Now let's jump into the interview process for entry level and SD1. So Prabhat, what is the interview process for entry level engineers or SD1 at PharmEasy?
So for pharmacy, like it's kind of like almost same for all the companies. So for most of the companies, like good working companies. So for on campus, so it's kind of like dependent on the campus itself, but it's typical like OA round. So there would be a coding round of three questions, and there would be then two technical rounds which are more focused on DSL Go and CS fundamentals. Third would be hiring manager, and fourth would be the HR round. So after
Okay.
that, after coding OA assessment, there would be four rounds basically.
Okay, so basically two coding is what you said, then one hiring manager and one HR round. So whoever is watching it, like, don't worry, we'll go in details of each and every round of what is expected and how do we prepare for it, what are the resources and all. Yeah. And how does this process change for a senior level position, like maybe SD2, SD3 and above?
For senior level, like first round is DS algo itself. So, and the second would be low level design specifically.
Okay, okay.
And the third would be hiring manager. And fourth would be the HR.
Okay. So basically for SD2 and above, the change is basically instead of doing two coding round, they do one coding and the main focus is on design aspects, which kind of makes sense as well because you'll have to do a lot of basically a lot of designing as a uh, senior engineer, right? So now jumping into each and every round. So what are the expectations in online assessment and coding round? Coding round basically is DSA and all.
Yeah, as I mentioned, so there would be three technical rounds. And the difficulty level would be like first would be the easy one. And the rest two would be medium kind of questions.
Okay.
And like second would be medium kind of, and third would be either it would be a medium question or medium hard kind of between.
Okay, so this is for online assessment, is what you're saying.
Yes.
And what about DSA face-to-face interview rounds?
For DSA interview rounds, like for me itself, so there were two technical rounds. In the first one, you are expected to solve two questions, both
Okay.
of medium difficulty.
Hmm.
So a doc would be shared with you before the start of the interview itself, and you have to write your code itself, like after discussing with the interviewer itself, and you are expected to write or like with the optimal code itself. And the second would be in the second round itself, you would be asked like maybe two or either three.
Okay. So basically, basically the the round looks like you have to solve two questions. And is it mandatory to solve both the questions, or is it okay like if someone solves one, or someone solves one completely and second partially?
So you are expected to solve both the questions. There could be chances like you can compensate on the complexity. Maybe for only one of the case, like if the question is more on the difficulty side, but you are expected to solve both the questions optimally, and you are
Okay.
writing the code itself.
Okay. Oh, okay. Makes sense. Like, I think this is there in almost all the places. So basically, you have to solve both the questions, and you have to write production ready code. And
Exactly.
for people who does not understand production ready code, I'll just repeat it because this is very very important to understand what production ready code actually means. So production ready code is basically, you have the naming nomenclature in your variable naming is good. The code is modular, it is maintainable, completes or it is complete, it is runnable, and it handles all the edge cases. So this is the basic stuff about production ready code. And probably in a while I'll probably do a dive deep into what is production ready code and give an example in a separate video itself. Now, jumping onto the next type of round, what are the expectations in LLD round?
So LLD round would be more inclined towards writing the like how are you making the classes. So discussion would be around writing the code. So that would be used in the industry itself. So you would be just on like as you mentioned like on the code. How are you like are you using any design patterns? How are you writing the code? Is it maintainable? Are you reusing your code? Is it a clean code or not? So there are
Mhm.
different aspects on which are you are mainly judged on like how are you reaching a problem and are you discussing it with the interviewer, like are you able to convey your thinking with the interviewer itself or not. So it is kind of like you would be just on the like it's kind of a you are interacting with the interviewer itself and discussing all the things together.
Okay, understood. And it happens like, in fact, if when I take interview, I also expect the person to be interactive with me, to basically discuss what is going on, because it's not just about solving the problem, it's mostly about the thought process, to understand how do you think about a problem. Because in a real life scenario you will be more using your thought process or problem solving skills, not just like some mug up solution or algorithm that you may have learned maybe 10 days ago. Makes sense. And same for LLD and HLD. Now, since we have covered like the application process, the interview process, and the expectations, now let's jump into the last piece of the puzzle, which is the preparation stage. How do you basically prepare for DSA, coding round, online assessment mainly, and then after that maybe we'll discuss about LLD. So first let's discuss about the coding and DSA part.
So for the coding round itself, like so I will go one by one. So coding round basically you will be judged on the time itself.
Hmm.
So because you are given three problems itself, and you are given like 30 minutes. So you are given like so the main agenda is like you have to solve the problem. Also, you are maintaining the time. So for that, you can prepare by giving the contests. So I was more doing the lead code contests at the time of for my preparation as well, and I think that would be
Hmm.
beneficial as well, like solving the problems and your track keeping a track of your time. So that would be one of the thing for the coding round itself. Apart from that, for DSA itself, like you would be solving the problems on the topic wise as well. If you want some width or some depth from the topic wise itself, so you can pick off like from the lead code itself, like you can pick the topic and start doing problems. And after that, when you feel like you are good with the width of the topics, then you can try random problems itself. So this could be the one of the strategy. So there could be many different strategies as well that could be used, but this is one that I used.
I think this is this is something that I also advocate, and I also like try to tell everyone, because this covers a lot of aspects. First of all, if you are at a beginning stage, you need to cover your basics first. So basics include like learning all the data structures, learning, understanding how they work and all, which basically is topic wise preparation. And then once you are at a good level, then that's when you start randomizing things, so that you can also understand ki, given a random question, can you figure out what data structure to use, what which algorithm will it use. So it makes sense, and this is something that I will also advocate to everyone. Just a quick note: if you want to, if you want to get better at DSA, and if you have a procrastination problem or consistency problem, we are running a 75 days challenge. This is day 11 today. Every single day we do a live session at the end of a day, basically to discuss what questions did we do, or what are the theory behind that question, and what are the alternative solutions. We do it as a proper live class, and we do it on our YouTube channel. Do subscribe to our channel, and do join that 75 days challenge, because that will give you a lot of consistency, and along with that, you'll get a lot of rewards as well. So it's a win-win for all. Now, jumping on to the LLD part, how do you prepare for LLD?
So for the LLD perspective, so I started learning, like I was more learning like LLD. Basically for me, it was like I was new to Java at the time, so I was thinking of picking a language specific thing, like because when you start with the LLD, you would be more considered of making the classes and all. So
Mhm.
whichever language you pick, I would advise like you have a good knowledge of that language itself. So for me, it was Java. So I started learning all the things with the Java itself. Then after that, I was looking on the design patterns, like what all the design patterns we use. Also, at the same time, I was looking on like what could be the better way of writing a production ready code. On the basis, I would be just later like what type of code I am going to write when I am facing that wrong. So
Right.
that is the other aspect. Apart from that, for the preparation part, I was referring to different resources available on the internet itself. So I was reading the blogs, I was going through different websites where the content would be easily available. That could be anything like geeks or anything. And I was preparing for some of the well-known designing problems like book my show, parking lot, and all, like chess game and all. So from that, first I design my on my own. Then I basically judge it by checking online different resources for that problem and see how well I am, like how far I am going with that. So by comparing with those, I got like slowly and slowly I was feeling like I'm improving on that.
Makes sense. So again, same piece of advice from my side. I think Prabhat mentioned it, and Prabhat actually summarized it very well. So again, focus on theory. I think we also have a questions in our chat. What topic make up low level design? And this is something that I'll cover in this itself. So low level design is basically combination of object oriented programming concepts, abstraction, inheritance, encapsulation, all five. Then solid principle is single responsibility, open close, Leskov, interface segregation, and dependency injection. So all five, learn what it is, how it is used, where is it used, and all. So focus on these two things. This is something that you will use every single day in your life if you want to become a software engineer. Then the third part that Prabhat also mentioned is design patterns. Design patterns are like, there are three type of design patterns: behavioral, creational, and structural. Go into details of what is, and there are multiple subtypes of that. Read what it is, where is what used, and how is it used, because it's very important to understand these design patterns. And once you have that, the last part basically is understanding how to use that, and you can do that by solving problems like Prabhat mentioned: book my show, parking lot, tic tac toe. There are so many problems that you can solve. So you can actually first the theoretical part, and then this. Now, there is one more thing, very like a good gift kind of thing for you. So I have basically structured the entire LLD course. I have collected a lot of resources from the internet, and it is present in the description below. There's a GitHub repository in the description. You can find DSA, Computer Science Fundamental, LLD, HLD resources structured in a manner that you can follow and get better in all these aspects. So go check that out, and you can utilize that. And it is an open source, free of cost available. Everything there is free of cost available, so you can also contribute back, and it can give you your profile a better visibility on GitHub, and basically open source contribution. Apart from that, one thing that I I generally don't mention, and people forget to do it as well, is do subscribe to the channel, because 80% of the people who watch videos like these don't subscribe to the channel. So it's very important for us to you subscribing the channel and click on the bell icon, so that you can get notification of all the amazing things that we have been doing right uh, in your YouTube feeds as well. uh, Before we jump on to the last part of this session, I'll take few more questions that we have. uh, Sandeep is asking, what are the most frequent DSA topic for pharmacy?
So I just wanted to tell. So it's not kind of like what topics PharmEasy itself asks. So it is kind of a general DSA where you can, like, if you are preparing for a for switch, or either you are starting applying to a company itself. So it would be a simple, like, it you would be preparing for the all DSA thing. Like, you won't be preparing for one topic itself. But just to answer your questions, like, question would be more revolving around stack and queues, arrays, hash maps, so trees itself. So it is not specific to a topic. Like, if you can think of, like, if an interviewer is going to ask you a question, it won't be like they would be supposed to ask from a specific topic itself. So it could be anything that could be, you would be basically judged on your problem solving skills.
I think the major crux of this question is even when there are like hundreds of topics, but I think you already mentioned mainly it's mainly around basics of array, stack, queues, hashing, trees, and all. So you can actually, I think it's a good enough answer, because you have narrowed down it to a less, because the DSA is a huge like field in itself, right? And you have narrowed it to a very decent scope. I think it is very hard to go beyond that. So I agree, like this is more than enough for an
Yeah,
answer as well.
just to add on, like, you won't be asked like questions from the advanced DSA, like segment trees and all, like DP on trees. So there could be some advanced topics. So I suppose, like, you weren't not supposed to ask questions from that side, like advanced DSL go. Apart from that, I guess you can expect questions from the normal ones, like
Nice.
normal data sets.
Okay, so yeah, I think this is a good answer for this. Okay, the next question that we have is, what are the level of questions online assessment and tech rounds has? Uh, he has already answered it. Mainly, it will be around medium level question, lead code medium. Sometimes it can be an easy question if you are lucky, and if you are very unlucky, which is very highly unlikely, it can be a difficult level questions as well. But mainly 90% or 95%, it will be a medium level question. Okay, so I think this person, how to is from. Okay, he's a pre-final year student. Does internship are mandatory for full time in pharmacy? I missed my summer internship.
No, I am example, like, on my own. So I never did intern from the pharmacy. So no, it's not.
No, no. I think he means to ask, like, is internship as a student, since
As
he's a
a,
campus student, he'll be applying
Mhm.
on or off campus. So will internship be a mandatory thing, or is it a good to have kind of thing?
If you are having a opportunity for an intern thing, then definitely it's a better kind of place, like better place to work with pharmacy as an intern. But in case you miss, so there would be other opportunities as well to join pharmacy as SD.
So I think the answer is internships are very good to have because you learn a lot of things in an internship, but it's not everything. If you did not do it because of any reason, there is no reason to get demotivated. It's time you start doing things now. So it you don't have to fixate on your past and let it not have or like get better in future. So it's okay. So the next question that we have is how much part it matters of a particular language to the developer while applying in such companies, since some mentioned Java, Spring Boot, Node, Python, JS, Django. So how much does a language matter at PharmEasy?
From PharmEasy aspect, like as they are hiring, so they never mentioned like a kind of like you must be a Django developer or you must be a Java backend developer or kind of thing. So for PharmEasy, like they are working in every tech stack. So even in my team as well, like they are working in all, like, so there is no foundation much on the tech stack itself. So even in the interview process itself, you won't be judged on the language itself. So there could be questions, but yeah, it depends mainly on the team specific also. So sometimes there would be hiring which are mainly focused on the tech stack, but majorly they won't be judging you on that.
Okay, that's good. Like I think it should be this way only. Okay, so Akash is asking, will the personal project help if the current service-based company doesn't have good projects?
Yeah, definitely. So if you don't have any good project in the company you are working on, so that could be a one way to improve your resume itself, like having a good personal project. So it's a personal advice as itself. So I have seen people like who don't have good working project for the companies they are working, and they have good personal projects. And so sometimes when in the interview itself you would be asked for the project discussion round, so you can highlight your personal project, and maybe there then you can highlight the things you have worked on and the things you have built on your own.
Okay, nice. And yes, I totally agree. Like, if you, for any reason, like this is something that you cannot control, what you work on and all. So, having a personal project is always going to be a beneficial thing. Not doing it is definitely better than not doing it. So, you can definitely work on it, Akash. Okay, a very, very good question is what I'll say, MG2. And something that people don't care about is how much does your verbal or communication skills affect your job?
So I feel like it has some place. Like if you are good with verbal skills, so mainly the agenda is like, are you able to uh, express your thoughts, or are you able to convey your messages to your team members? Also, you would be polite and humble while conveying your messages to the with the team members. So this would be one of the point, like where this comes into the picture in your HR round basically. So I must say, like, company have HR rounds mainly if they are if a company has HR round in their interview process. So for PharmEasy also they have included HR round, which is of equal importance. So there they mainly judge you on the verbal skill itself. So it won't be a kind of like restricted, but yeah, you would be judged somewhat on that itself.
Okay.
So having a good verbal skills is definitely a plus point kind of thing.
Okay. I'll add my answer to this. It's okay. And I have a kind of a view which yeah, which is something that you would be looking for. First of all, how much does verbal skills affect? It affects a lot. Now, let me answer it in a different fashion that you might not have heard about, or is it? So, if you have very good, decent, or very good verbal skills or communication skills, you'll not feel the problem. It's like if you have it, you won't feel the problem. But if you don't have it, that's when it starts to become a problem. You will never know that okay, it's good or it's must to have, or is it is playing any importance or not. But if you don't have it, that's when you start to feel that's when you start missing it. So verbal skills will have impact on your day-to-day job everywhere. It does not matter which company you are in, it does not matter which kind of technology, which field of work you are in. For engineers, it has a little less impact as compared to rest of the things, like rest of the jobs. But for us as well, if you don't have it, that's when you start to feel the struggle, because you have to communicate yourself, as Prabhat mentioned. You have to express yourself properly, you have to communicate with your team, cross teams and all. So it is important. So if you want to work on it, if you don't have good communication skills, like I did not have a very good communication skills, and I don't feel I have good communication skills as of now as well. But this YouTube channel and my personal revelation on these things helped. I'll give you a piece of advice, and I'll give you a piece of way on how can you improve yourself. Is, if you want to improve your communication skills specifically, or verbal skills specifically, record yourself talking about a random topic every single day for a minute or two, and then उस वीडियो को देखो. You will realize, okay, हाँ, this is what I'm doing wrong. Log that somewhere. So I did that for three and a half months. Every single day I used to write that somewhere in an Excel sheet. I have that Excel sheet, I have those videos available in my phone. When I check my first and last videos, there's a dramatic difference in how can how I communicate, how I express myself, the confidence level, the way I see in the camera. So it depends. So it will have a very big impact. So try this technique and it will help you a lot. Okay, now moving to the last part of the puzzle, or last part of the session today. So final piece of advice, like we'll keep on taking few more questions, but final piece of advice to the people who are applying it, or freshers or even experts ones, experienced ones who are applying it PharmEasy.
So a piece of advice, like first we go with the freshers itself. So for the fresher itself, like I would be advising you on the basis of you would be judged in your interview process itself. So you would be more, and it would be like how you would be. It would be act as a advice as well. So for fresher side, you would be more judged on the CS fundamentals and DSA part. So if you are good with DSA and able to write a production ready code and having a good clear understanding of algorithms and write the major thing I want to highlight on the DSA part, like if you are solving a problem, then having a optimal solution for the problem, it would be a plus point for you. So if you are solving a problem and let's say for a specific problem there are three solutions and you know the optimal well as one, starting from the brute force to the optimal one, then it would be a plus point for you. And the CS fundamentals are basically when you from the till fourth year you must all the topics you must have read in your BTech curriculum itself. So if you are good in those two things, then it would be better for you. Like while for the fresher part, for the experienced ones, there is one more add-on which would be LLD, which you would be experiencing with your working experience. So that would be like the work you are doing in your current org or whatever. So you must know what all things you are working. You have good idea on, like you have deep knowledge of what you are working, because you would be judged on that as well. So while discussion on your current project for what company you are working on, so you would be expecting you can expect questions from that part as well. And the other would be like writing a production ready code, and that is all, like design patterns and all.
Nice, nice. I think it makes sense. So production ready code is definitely required for everyone. Like there is no, I will say there is no choice in that. And yeah, if you're experienced, do focus on what you're doing and learn the things that you are doing end to end, so that it helps you in your interview and outside of interview as well. Okay, we have two more questions. Okay, so first question is, Right now, I'm in class 10th. What should I do to become software engineer after class 10th? Okay, यार ये तो काफी like Lakshay. First of all, I'll say कि it's good that you know it already. For me, I feel there at least now people are much more aware of what they want or how things work. For me, I did not know I want to become a software engineer even after spending 2 years in my BTech computer science. So, how to become a software engineer? I'll take this question. There are multiple paths that you can take, and these are some like there is the easy path or like a standard path, which is do a BTech in computer science from a good level of college. Focus on your coding DSA from the starting. Focus on learning projects and building projects and all, team management and all. Do that, and eventually you will end up in a good company. So this is one of the standard paths that everyone takes. The second path can be you can right now you can explore, you can try to become something else, or if you're clear you want software engineer, start learning basic programmings and all. Do your graduations along the way, no matter where you what kind of uh, education background you have right now or in the graduation. Focus on coding, focus on learning skills like some skills. It can be anything: Android apps, iOS app, machine learning, robotics, blockchain. There are so many things in computer science. Pick one, be better at it. You can become a software engineer using that. The third, or something that I will not say you can take, but it is there, you can start focusing only on coding from now onwards, and you can just ditch your academics. Don't do it, I'm not advocating it, but yeah, you can only focus on coding and all, and then you can start working with companies, and you can start working with startups from the early stage itself. No matter even if you are going for education or not, start working or doing internships with startups, so that you have experience and you can learn from them as well. So this is what my piece of advice is: learn it, start learning things, focus on one language, learn that, then build products. This is what my piece of advice to you is. Okay, Prabhat, I think you are much more experienced, or like you have relevant experience of taking this question. What is your experience of on and off campus companies?
Uh, for me, like I work with two companies. Like right now, like the one which I'm working right now, it's off campus, and the previous one NCR, that too is off campus for me. In for on campus, like basically I'm from tier 3 college, so in our colleges there won't be much opportunities for the on campus at my time. So there were basically some companies which would be coming, and that too, like you won't be getting a better, I must say, like there won't be much opportunities to look in. So that was my experience for for the on and off campus. So for me, like both the companies I worked with, both are off campus.
Nice. Okay. So on campus wise, I'll share my experience, and it's a bit fuzzy because it's been a long time, 8 years, 7 years, 7.5 years. Yeah. So what happens is companies come, you have to compete with the entire college almost. Uh, 4 or 5 branches are allowed. They take online assessment, then select people from that, then take interviews, select people. It's mostly elimination round in on campus, whereas in off campus what happens is it's kind of a tournament where they do elimination on the basis of first one interview plus coding, and then they give you chance, like they give 2 to 3 rounds of every person, take interviews of 2 3 rounds for almost every person, and then decide whether they want to proceed or not. So this is what the difference is I've seen in on and off campuses. And the second difference is, like, on campus you are competing in one single college, whereas off campus you are competing with everyone who is there who wants to apply. So the competition is higher, so it's a bit difficult. So that's the only difference I know. Okay, can you share some tip on how can I improve my code quality? Prabhat, do you want to take this first?
Yeah, sure. So for the code quality side, so basically I just wanted to said one just wanted to highlight one thing. So code quality is not a kind of thing like which could be improved in a some amount of time. So it would take time, and it's a continuous process, I must say. So code quality comes with like with the proper feedbacks. So let's say if you write some code today, if you look back it after some time, so if you are seeing some improvements in that, then you can say like you are improving in that. This is one thing I want to highlight. So that's how your code quality improves. So it would be like a time taking process. You must be taking proper feedbacks from your mentors. If I'm talking about the working culture, like if you're working in the industry itself, so if you are writing any code, proper code reviews would be beneficial for you for in case of code quality. And if you are a fresher, then I would advise you looking on different like let's say if you are writing a code for a problem itself, like for a DSA problem itself, so looking on the different submissions of the solution by different coders, so you can judge your code itself, and that's how you improve on the code quality itself. So there are two paths, but both are same. Like for freshers, no one is helping you. You will be helping on your own by looking on the solutions. And for the experience part, if you have good experienced team members, you can ask them for code reviews, and then that would be helpful for code quality improvements.
I think great piece of advice. I'll definitely I don't think I have anything to add. Definitely, like code quality is not a one-time task. It is an evolution process. It's a process of evolution. You have to improve. I can't say I write good quality code like even after 6.5, in fact, 8 years of experience and all. So it's an evolution. So focus on that. Work with your peers. Work with your experienced people if you have access to that. Otherwise, second very good thing that even I did not think of it is when you submit code on lead code, look at someone else's solution. Try to understand, okay, so this is something that he is doing better, this is something I'm doing better, take the better out of it and then implement it in the next solution. And that's how you evolve. So very good piece of advice, thank you so much for that. uh, yeah, I don't think we have any other questions as of now. Okay, so first of all, again, thank you so much for joining us and thank you so much for taking your time out, Prabhat. And it was a really, really good experience and a really good chatting with you. So, yeah, or okay, so we'll take last one question and then probably whatever the questions you have, you can write it in the comments and will either me or Prabhat will give answer to that. So, what should be the main focus for a sixth semester person, internship or off campus job?
So you want to take or should I take?
You take it, like you have much fresh memories of colleges and all. Then probably I can take a stab after your answer.
Okay, okay. So basically, that I have different two opinions for that. So one is like if you are from a good college, so you are right now in sixth semester, so you would be expecting good companies which would be coming to your college for internship as well. So internship is one of the way of cracking the companies and getting a PPO, which is definitely a best way to make sure, like, because if you are working at a good company in your seventh semester, so you would be a little bit ahead of your peers, and there could be chances of landing a PPO. And after that, like, there would be a better way, like you would be at a better place compared to your peers. But if you are not from a very good college, then you won't expect much companies coming to your campus for internship. Then you would be looking for the off campus SD intern opportunities. So that could be one way to go. So there are different companies which hire candidates for intern role itself. Some of them are like Microsoft itself, Amazon itself hires. Also, the bar is comparatively low apart, like compared to SD1 role, a typical SD1 fresher role. So
Hmm.
the number of rounds are less. talking about the off-campus job, so you would be more focusing off-campus job after your like eighth semester. Like they would be, if they would be, you would be working around like after completing your eighth semester, you would be turned into your full-time role. So that is other way. So you want to add something, Karan?
No, I think and that's good. Like on in sixth semester, I think your focus should be on internship and getting ready for the upcoming placement slash off campus process.
Hmm.
Off campus, you cannot. I don't think you can get off campus jobs in sixth semester because no company is going to wait for like 1.5 years. It's very hard to get, like, unless and until you are someone that company is like dying for, which can happen. I'm not saying it will not happen, but that is very rare. So I think your focus should be internship. And this internship, try to get in a good companies, bank level or good companies, PharmEasy or something. So you can try that, and I think your focus should be internship and also preparing for the job placement season as well. Okay. So one last question. I think this is specified for me only, and it's not more of a question. It's more of a chit chat. How do I prepare for, one doubt? When do I get time for 75 days challenge? I never missed a day, and yeah. So yeah. First of all, it's all about priority. You always have time. I think you are in fifth or sixth semester or maybe fourth semester right now. You are in college, and if you say you don't have time, I don't know what you are doing with your day. Because you have a lot of time in college. So कॉलेज से ज्यादा कभी लाइफ में दोबारा टाइम मिलेगा भी नहीं. If you still feel कि you don't have time, wait for joining a company. That's when you'll realize कि हाँ time तो बहुत था पहले. So it's you always have time. It's all about making priorities, uh, squeezing some time out, productively doing things. And secondly, like, uh, it's I think that's about it. Like, consistency, habit is the way that to go about it. You have to build habits, and once you have productive habits in places, things will start falling in places. So yeah, that's about it. I think that's all questions that we have for the day. Any other questions, guys? Please write it in the comment, because it's already like 45-48 minutes in the session. As much as we'd like to talk more, I like you said, like, I have to prepare for 75 days challenge, as how to already asked. So I'll be preparing for that, and so that we can come online again live in next 1 hour or so. Yes, 1 hour or so. So do join us. If you are watching, do join us for live. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do subscribe, like, comment down in the description below, comment down below, like the video, and thank you so much again. And again, Prabhat, thank you so much for joining us, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.